Avoid the lottery of FIFA points. Head over to u7bike.com. Use the code TVM at checkout for a 5% off. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to another starter squad. We've got La Liga today. I think I've got the Bundesliga and then Serie A left to do of the major leagues. And then we might do some of the quote-unquote minor leagues. And then, of course, we'll do a couple of hybrids. And that should take us into the demo where we'll start looking at some players and what to expect from the game itself. But for what we know so far, and some of the ratings, of course, have been confirmed, we can jump into the first player. And I'm chuffed to be able to say that this guy could potentially be one of the best goalkeepers in La Liga this year. He was fantastic last year. Hopefully he gets a good upgrade. The reason I like him is because back in FIFA 15, when he was a bronze card playing for Real Madrid, I did several videos around him because for whatever reason, and I didn't know of him at the time, he was absolutely insane. The guy was saving everything, and he was a bronze goalkeeper. People were coming up against me, and they were trying to shoot from 30, 40 yards out because they obviously knew he was a bronze keeper, and he was just saving everything. He was fantastic, and I've got a bit of a soft spot for him. This is a confirmed rating. I think he'll be an non-rare card. Unrare? What the hell are you talking about? A non-rare card, but I don't have a non-rare FIFA 20 card design, so I can't show you. But either way, he's had a slight pace downgrade from, I think it's 86 to 83. His passing, I think, has gone down by 1. His dribbling has gone down by 1. However, he remains a 79. Bit of an interesting one. Maybe would have bumped him down to a 78, but still, that's the right back in this team, so far relatively solid. Another confirmed rating is Hermoso. This guy looks very good considering he's only 80 rated. Last season, nobody used him at all apart from his team of the season, and even that, when people packed it, they were disappointed because it was one of the lower rated. But his move to Atletico means that he's obviously had a very nice upgrade, and for, I would say, the first few weeks, maybe even a month, this guy is going to be a very good player. And of course, chem styles are a big factor here. Put a nice big chem style on him, got yourself a very pacey, capable defender. Moving into an unofficial, unconfirmed rating, this is Omero, I can't even say his name. Omero, whatever his name is. This guy looks tasty. Up from a silver to a gold, had a very good season last year. I've done some research. I haven't just plucked these players out, by the way. I've been going on different sites, getting the data together, analysing certain things here or there, and then coming up with an overall rating. So there has actually been thought gone into this, but that guy looks like a very good defender for, again, the very early stages. Firpo of Barcelona up next. There could be, I don't know, 4 or 5 different players for left back that you could choose here. Of course, there's Gaia as always. You've got Firpo. Mendy of Real Madrid is a player, but I think he's probably going to be a little bit too expensive. And there are a couple of others dotted around the place as well that actually don't look that bad at all. But I've gone with Firpo because I don't expect him to be that expensive in the early stages because he's only 79 rated. He doesn't have the best stats in the world, but it's confirmed rating. As we move on to Campania, this guy in the middle is very well rounded. He's a very good passer of the ball. He shouldn't be expensive because who the hell is going to want this guy? There are, I think, 3 midfielders here because we're doing a 4-3-3, and all 3 of them are not that great on paper, but I think that they've got a couple of stats here or there that should be decent in the early stages. Like this guy's short passing is going to be very, very good, and that will come in extremely handy in the early stages of FIFA 20. Up against people with lesser defences. We've got Rashina here with what should have very good ball control stats. Again, only 79 rated, extremely well rounded by the defensive side of his game. But you know, he knows how to shoot, he knows how to pass. He's not that slow, and his physicals should be decent in terms of stamina. And then, of course, you've got that very nice ball control stat. Now, you're going from team of the season cards and footies cards to this, and I know it's difficult to adjust because you're trying to compare to a team of the season, but just try and remember this is the start of a brand new FIFA. Orellana has been on your screen for a couple of seconds now, again another unofficial rating, but he should have very good passing stats, very good ball control stats, relatively good shooting from distance, and his pace should not let you down. This is a much slower game. Pace is a relatively big factor still, of course. You can still skin people who are slower with faster players, but you should be able to slow down the game a lot and use slower players to your advantage. Moving on to Johnny on the left side, another Deportivo player. This is where we inject a little bit of pace. The only real reason I've gone with this guy over someone like Vinicius Jr. is because I just believe that prices of wingers are going to be quite expensive early doors. They normally are with fullbacks as well, actually, so I don't know what to think about Firpo, but Johnny should be very cheap, and he's got a lot of pace to him. His dribbling is okay, his passing's good, shooting's not great, but we don't really know how the style of the game will go. So this guy, I think, should hit most bases. Vinicius Junior is just going to be too expensive to even consider. Odegaard on the other side. This is going to be an interesting card this year because he's obviously now in Spain, playing regularly for Real Sociedad. I think he's popped up with a goal or two as well so far this season. He only played 3 games. He's played in all 3 of them. He's not the paciest of players, but remember, he does have 5-star skills, so that's always a bonus. Very good passing, extremely good dribbling for an 80 rated card. I mean, this could easily be bumped up to an 81, 82 rated. I don't think anyone would complain about it, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But he does have 87 dribbling on his 80 rated inform in FIFA 19, so I've knocked it down by 2, and it still looks overpowered, but it's still a very good card, and I can't imagine he's going to be that expensive. And finally, the striker, I've gone with Mariano. He obviously played a few games last season for Real Madrid, and I think he got a couple of goals. I think he got like 3 goals or something, but I have downgraded the shooting slightly. I've downgraded the physical slightly as well, and of course he's gone down from an 80 to a 79. This is of course an unofficial rating, but I think this guy has got a lot to offer because he won't be expensive. He won't have a ones to watch like last year, of course, so he won't be that sort of mega price tag he was at the beginning of the game. I think this is a very good card for what should only be a few thousand coins. That's how the team looks in its entirety. A lot of you might look at that and think, well, yeah, okay, the defence looks really nice actually, but the midfield is very poor. And if you take the time to go and have a look at players under 80 rated in La Liga, there is a severe lack of quality midfielders. If you can actually find any, I would be interested to learn who they are, because I looked and I scoured and I couldn't find anything, and I looked at new transfers and everything, and it just there wasn't really that sort of, I don't know, pacey, good passing player that you're kind of going to want in the early stages. So I thought, you know what, we'll go for some mid-70 paced players, one relatively slow player but an extremely well-rounded one in Campania, and you should be able to set him to stay back while attacking, while the other 2 are more sort of a box-to-box situation, but I would say they're both sort of cam-style players, so it depends what you want to play, really. I like it, though. I like it. For the early stage of this game, it won't cost you that much money at all. It's going to be a very cheap team, and I think you could maybe then afford to go out and buy maybe either one big player for it or a couple of decent super subs. This isn't necessarily a super sub, nor is the next player, but I think these are players that could potentially go into the team. I would be very interested to see how this guy gets on this season, regardless of what his rating will be at the beginning of the game. Fran Beltran is a very nice looking player, good prospect, started the season relatively well, did reasonably well last season as well. I don't think he's going to have some amazing stats in FIFA 20, but just watch out for him. Cabrera as a centre-back. If one of those 2 centre-backs, Hermoso in particular, is too expensive, Cabrera is a player you could bring in to do a job until you can afford to buy Hermoso. I think 68 pace should be not sniffed at this year. Like I said, the pace of the game is much slower. You can drop the back line slightly, and then you won't have to worry about too much about being caught in behind, and he should do a relatively good job for you. Right back situation, just in case the likes of Arias or even Firpo on the other side too expensive. Trippier should be a relatively nice prospect. I don't think he's going to be the paciest of players, but you know full well he's able to pass, he can cross, his defensive stats are relatively good as well. I just think this is a reasonably good card, and if you do decide to go into some sort of hybrid, even if it is in the early stages, the English link there could do wonders. You could even go from Trippier to Sancho and then into the Premier League. Nabil Fekir is going to be a big player this year in Spain, in real life, and in FIFA, I would have thought, in the not early stages necessarily, because he's still going to cost you 20-25k very early on, but maybe this is your first sort of major upgrade, because I think this guy is going to be with you for a couple of months at least. So if you can get up to that 20,000-30,000 coin mark, pick up Nabil Fekir, slot him in that cam position, he's going to be able to have finesse shots for days, excellent ball control, just a very nice player, and hopefully again a couple of informs this year as well. That's going to do it for the La Liga starter team. Like I said, you could throw in Vinicius Junior in there. Rodrigo, of course, is the FIFA 20's version of FIFA 19's Vinicius Jr. because he's basically going to be, 76, 77 rated with a lot of pace. So, yeah, you could do that, but I just don't know about the prices. I didn't want to overprice things. I've gone with a few players there who may be borderline starter team material, and a few players who 100% are starter team material, but hopefully I've ticked all the boxes. If you feel that I've left anybody out and you think anybody else deserved a shout down below, then feel free to let me know. If you have enjoyed it, though, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and until the next time, goodbye.
Football Index. The game changed. Download the app now.